Hi, welcome to Bermuda, a place full of smiling faces and welcoming staircases. I, Jesse Williams, and my partner, Sam Resnick, will be your guides today. In this video, we will be covering the African Diaspora Heritage Trail in Bermuda, specifically Jeffery's Cave, though there are many others. For example, Mars Bay Park, Lost at Sea Memorial, Pirate Devil Square, St. Peter's Church, and St. George's Historical Society Museum. These are few of the many amazing sites you can visit. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. The original meaning of the word diaspora was the scattered, and the term was used to describe the dispersal of the Jewish people who were exiled to many parts of the earth. Today, diaspora is used to describe one of the largest and most historic scattering of people of pre-modern times.
The African diaspora came about as a result of the transatlantic slave trade, which began at the beginning of the 16th century. During the slave trade, approximately 10 million Africans were transported on ships to the Western Hemisphere as slaves. In 1616, the governor of Bermuda, Daniel Tucker, had requested for black people to be brought to Bermuda to die for pearls. Later that year, an Indian and a black man were brought to Bermuda on the Edmund. They were considered indentured servants and not slaves. They were valued and appreciated for their skills in cultivation of tobacco and diving for pearls. Though, by 1620, most indentured servants were being indentured for 99 years, essentially making them slaves for their entire life.
In 2001, the African Diaspora Heritage Trail was created in Bermuda by the Bermuda Department of Tourism. The aim of the ADHT Bermuda was to link historical journeys through a chain of tourist attractions that tell stories of the slaves that were in.
On the small island of Bermuda, it was very difficult to escape from the slaves' bondage.
Most slaves who made efforts to escape would go back to their hometown parish, or St. George's, in hopes that they could board a ship to flee the island.
Jeffery's Cave, which is located at Spittle Pond Nature Reserve, is in Smith's Parish. This is where an escaped slave named Jeffery hid for several weeks until caught. Jeffery's master concluded the search for Jeffery after a couple of days, assuming he got in a ship and fled the island. Jeffery's master concluded the search in a mere few days, as most slaves that escaped would be caught and found immediately, because of the size of Bermuda making it difficult to hide for long.
His master noticed one of his other slaves leaving the property with a small package just after sunset almost every day. She would go to the south shore along the rocks and give Jeffrey the package. The master decided to follow her one evening and noted where she dropped the package off. The next night, the master and a friend went to the location where he saw the girl leave the package and found Jeffrey hiding in a cave.
Do you like history? Are you interested in the past of Bermuda? Are you intrigued about the transatlantic slave trade? Well, Bermuda is a great tourist location. With its beaches and other attractions, makes for a great spot for a vacation. Bermuda was actually involved with the transatlantic slave trade too. Bermuda has a variety of locations spread across the island that tell some of the stories of the slaves that were kept on the island and the history of Bermuda's involvement with slavery. Not only is it loads of fun to go to these locations and see the beautiful scenery on this island, it's also educational, teaching us about Bermuda's history. Now here is an expert opinion on this topic. Mr. Ferbert is one of the most knowledgeable people in Bermuda who knows about this subject.
Jeffery's Cave is located in the Spittle Pond Nature Reserve to the west of the historic site of Spanish Rock. Named for a young slave who ran away from his owner and remained free for several days by hiding in this area. Despite an intensive search, Jeffrey could not be found, and the search was abandoned when it was concluded that he had left Bermuda on a sailing vessel. Over a month later, his master noticed that on several occasions, one of his slaves, a 15-year-old girl, disappeared at sunset with a package under her arm. The suspicious slave owner followed her to this area on the south shore near Spittle Pond. The next day, the slave master returned with a friend to search the vicinity and found Jeffrey hiding in the cave which now bears his name.
Though a punishment was never recorded, a likely punishment that Jeffrey and the slave girl who helped Jeffrey might have received is being whipped, having a limb cut off, or even being executed on Giblets Island. But these slaves were seen as an investment, and most people didn't want to lose money by executing their slaves.
This is the view Jeffrey would have had as he sat in his cave on those lonely nights. Our goal is to improve the heritage tourism in Bermuda and the knowledge of the African Diaspora Heritage Trail. How we intend to do this is to make more videos like this one on every site in Bermuda. We also intend to implement an easier way to reach the sites. To do this, we would make efforts to clean up the area around the sites, make the paths more visible and accessible, provide more information on the sites at the plaques, and last but not least, the best way to improve the heritage tourism is to provide live tours of the sites that at this moment do not have any.